So I went ahead and sanded his whole body, so he's still wet from that. And I just used the 220 grit because that one's great at smoothing stuff that's kind of rough. So now instead of kind of lumpy and bumpy, he's nice and smooth. I still need to go back and add clay here, fix this part. Other than that, his body's about ready to go, except for this front part too. I need to go back and add a little bit more clay, redo a little sculpting there. I wanted to show you on these hands and arms, right up here, you can kind of see these marks. These are called moonies, and that's just basically where some air gets caught underneath the clay, and it makes this lighter spot. He got a good one right here too, which is fine on this kind of doll because, you know, it's not going to be the end product. So this is why you don't want to bake in layers when you do a one-of-a-kind doll, as far as like going back and just filling in areas with a little bit of clay. It's because it's going to leave this kind of marking on the surface of the clay. And when this is your one-of-a-kind, you don't want to have this kind of surface, having it look this way with all the moonies and stuff on a one-of-a-kind doll. But on this doll, where it's basically just going for the shape, because it's going to be put into a mold, and then that mold turned into a resin casting, what the surface looks like doesn't matter. We just need to have it smooth, and that's where the sanding comes in. So now our parts are all nice and sanded. Then we need to give him his shoes and his head and fix this few parts of the body. So now we need to get him some shoes. Okay, so the shoes, and it looks like they're just kind of some black boots with a heel. Let's see, carve recessed only part depth. So we'll see. We could just make that black, I'm not sure. I'm going to try using Sculpting Firm for this, which is a gray color, and see what I think of it, because I haven't used it before, and it's nice to have a new project to give it a try on. So first I need to see how this compares, and then make the foot the right size from this. I'll start with just a rough shape and then blend it in. Alright, so this is Sculpting Firm, which is this gray clay. And so far, yeah, it's a lot firmer. It definitely feels more like Pro Sculpt or one of these, like Primo, one of the heavier clays. And we'll see what it's like to sculpt with. I don't know. I haven't used smoothing gel with it, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But I'm definitely needing to condition it a bit before using it, which compared to regular Sculpey, that stuff is so smooth and it's just squishable. So this is a lot different. We'll see what we think. Alright, so I've made this very rough shape that's the same size as this boot in the drawing. So I can just refer to this as far as a three-dimensional shape. And what I've decided on this gray Super Sculpey is I don't like it. I mean, I think it would be okay for certain projects, but just, you know, how it's not blending immediately. I have that seam there. Well, that's just too much work. I don't want to have to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing to get it to blend. So I'm just going to go back to use the mix that I already like. And now we know what I think of Super Sculpey. It's probably great for some projects, but this one I need it to blend much more easily. But I can still use this little foot to be kind of a model of what I'm going for as far as the three-dimensional shape is concerned. Alright, so back to my regular mix of clay, which this one actually has quite a bit of Super Sculpey in it, and then some of my regular mix of Primo and Living Doll, etc. But did you see, watch just how I go like that and it just smooths so nicely. And that's important to me. I've found over the years that it is not worth it to wrestle with your clay. Find the kind that you like, and you know, it's really worth taking the time to find out which kind of clay really meshes with your sculpting style. So right now I'm just kind of going for that same shape, and that little note about the hill. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to put a hill on here or not, so I'm going to kind of leave it just a little bit up. But now I can just look at this shape that I created before and go for the same size and stuff without having to keep consulting that paper. So I'm going to do it about like this so it's the right size and shape, and then I like to just put it right on the doll. And so I'm going to use this bead tool. You could use any tool really, and just kind of open it up so it's going to be easier to slide right on that leg. And then just kind of slide it on in there. And then I will do the shaping of it from there. And also I'm going to go take it back off and then add more of the Sculpting Bacon Bond, because that will make sure that this piece adheres well. Alright, so at first it looks like a weird boot, but if you look at the picture, it actually is going to go up about to here, right by the ankle bone, and it kind of, here's where the heel is that goes out and then down. So I just want to worry about that outside shape. And right here, the top of the boot, I'm not caring about this because I'm just going to cut it off eventually anyway. And right now I just want it to kind of blend into the leg so it will hold the boot still while I'm trying to sculpt on the rest of it. So I'm doing that and then just kind of measuring the correct length, measure against the picture for the correct height. And then I'm thinking it's going to be helpful at this point to kind of draw in what this kind of looks like. Kind of give it that sort of idea with it, just so we know where we're headed. And then I know this is going to be up here, but on this side it's going to come way more down. So we're looking more like about like this sort of thing. So this part I will cut out later, but that kind of gives me more an idea of what we're going for.